necessarily this first race of the day. I think a lot of the stronger skaters know that they can make their way through. They don't have to push the pace or rely on an advancement time. So I think the result of that, we'll see some slower starts, a little bit more strategic racing from these skaters in these rep quarterfinals.
Yesterday was one of the women's events where both of the time possible advancements were wiped out due to penalties and skaters advanced. And so first round of skaters on the ice. This one, we begin kind of with a bang with Lee Jung-soo of the Korean White Tigers, the great veterans. There is Niall Tracy, the British Royals, Lev Ivchenko, Kwok Fung, Daniel Bergen, Tariq Omeragic, and Martin Prantl, the youngster from the Croatian Dalmatians, making his World Tour debut this weekend. Imagine you have a guy like 17-year-old Martin Prantl going up against the great veteran Lee Jung-soo.
Well, if you haven't been watching short track for too long, Lee Jung-soo won the 1,000-meter and 1,500-meter in the 2010 Olympics in Vancouver. So he's got some hardware to his name. He's got some experience. He's been kind of off the circuit for a while, but it's great to see him back here this season and looking to get through this rep quarter.
And so if we do that 15-year math, Martin Prantl would have been a
2
toddler. Two. And there he is. Nothing. You're a young skater.
Lee Jung-soo is a DNS.
Oh, well, there you go. Unfortunately, we were talking it up. And no Lee Jung-soo now. And it's down to 6 on the line. Just getting everybody in the right positions before we get competition started. There goes that storyline.
Well, yeah, unfortunately. So if you see that DNS pop up, that did not start. So Lee Jung-soo did not start this race. He's opting out.
As Tyler theorized, not going gangbusters off the start. And chance for the youngster to see how he matches up. It's one of those events you don't have much in the way of expectations when you're at this age, at the top tour, so go for it.
Gain experience, you know, learn who your competitors are. Such a huge part of short track is knowing your competitors, how they race, and the best way to find that out is to go up against them on the track.
And Croatian Dalmatians did sport the new kit for the first time in Tilburg a week ago. They've gone back to their Croatian kit that they would wear at the World Championships next month in Beijing. And it is Prantl with Tracy behind him. You'd have to figure that at 11 in the world, Niall Tracy would be odds on to be one of the top 2 skaters to move on. The second one, it's a little more wide open. Like Ivchenko, at least on paper, the one to beat behind him. Omeragic now hitting front.
Well, last week in Tilburg, we have a little bit different of a field. We had the absence of the White Tigers. We had the B team, the Chinese lungs. Now with their return back this weekend in Milan, it really increased the depth of the field, and that's where, you know, we don't typically see the likes of Niall Tracy in the repechage rounds, but, you know, you just, the way the races work out, the heats, and you get stacked up with one, then you find yourself here. So Niall Tracy having to work with the cards he was dealt this weekend.
Tracy on the front. He loves to get there and invite all the others to try to get around him. And he is really starting to wind things up now. Inside 4 to go. Is Tracy, Ivchenko, Omeragic, Bergen, and Kwok.
You can see Tracy just accelerating the pace at the front here, making it increasingly difficult for the following skaters, keeping himself out of trouble.
Bergen making a stab at trying to get up into third, but starting to pull away the front 2. Tracy, Ivchenko go through, and I think Omeragic gets up for third.
He did.
3.77, but not the slowest of openings, so that leads that might not be the fastest of heats.
And I think we'll continue kind of see that sort of pace throughout these repechage 1500s, as I talked about already. lot of the top skaters aren't going to be too desperate to push the speed, and then the other one, the other skaters that may be a little bit lower in ability, they can't push the speed out front, because then they know they're just pulling along the better skaters that are going to be, making some easier passes on them. So it's kind of a little bit everybody watching each other and seeing how they react.
So when you're a top-ranked skater with Tracy, 11th in the world, could always become a bit of a banana peel, but he gets through, and we'll see him again in the repechage semifinal. Confirmation, Omar Agic will now see if his time holds up to 3:37.45. Heat 2 out on the ice. It has Andrew Hio, the USA Eagles Sun Long of the Chinese lungs, but he went through repechage and he found glory earlier when he won in Beijing in the 500 meters. He had a very long weekend, if I'm not mistaken. No, I'm trying to remember, was it qualifiers and repechage? Anyway, it was a long weekend, so Sun Long is not afraid of extra races. Metehan Atan, Oleg Hande, Purapat Chiangmai, Frederick Pedersen, and Dietrich Veraklis.
Go to the start. Ready.
Yeah, just when Sun Long won gold in the 500 in Beijing, he started in the preliminaries, so he even did that extra round on qualifying day, since he wasn't one of the seeded skaters in the 500, and then he went on to win gold in Beijing, so he's not afraid of an extra race or two. This one a little bit longer than a 500, a little bit more fatiguing perhaps.
The extra races in the 15 can certainly add up on your legs, take a toll. However, Sun Long, he's also a 1,500 meter world champion, so he's showing his ability to do it in all events.
Oleg Hande in the front.
And that's, the benefit of the repechage, because sometimes higher ranked skaters, have some misfortune in the qualifying round. Well, this is their opportunity to get back into that main tour event. And the second benefit of the repechage races is providing experience to younger skaters that just aren't quite there to make the main world tour stage, and they get some extra racing in.
Just showed Dietrich Veraklis in shot, and we talked about him yesterday. He's been doing this for 3 years on playing catch up and cramming all the ins and outs of this sport, and so getting these extra races a benefit to them. That is Pedersen on the front, the young Norwegian Viking. He has Chiangmai of the Thai Elephants taking a look up the inside, but Sun Long and Andrew Hio comfortable near the back, letting the other skaters duke it out at the front for now.
Well, Andrew Hio and Sun Long are certainly two to watch in this race. They're the top-ranked skaters. They're biding their time, being patient. Pedersen's keeping this race to a higher pace than the previous one, so a little bit of a bump there between Dietrich and Chiangmai.
Lost some speed. Hande popped up once or twice to the course of the season. He's certainly a name we do call a lot, doing just about every race imaginable. Now it's time for Hio to go. And Sun Long joins him. And also Atan.
Well, Ole Honde's doing a terrific job keeping Sun Long trapped to the outside, and Atan jumping up. He's got speed. This is a tight race now.
And it's Hio, Atan, and Atan is down. Long loses a blade for a moment there. Hande going for second. Who has the speed out of the corner?
Whoa, what a shoot for the line there.
Hio takes it. I think Sun had it initially, but the photo might show something different. But there are also 3 yellow dots to look at, and so already our officials are
off to a busy start today.
Indeed. So
well,
we'll see
just
what happens here. Hande never gives up.
Everything unfolding that last lap there. Sun Long was trapped on the outside. Atan went up the inside. Sun Long's looking to go for the pass. Atan loses his footing, catches Sun Long's legs. Sun Long stays on his feet, but then you had Pedersen and Ole Hande tracking him down behind.
So see if we get another look at that incident. There was just a lot happening there.
So we see Sun Long here on the outside, but Ole Honde defending that position well. There's a ton, losing his footing, catching Sun Long's leg. That allows Honde and Pedersen to push up. Sun Long kind of lost all of his momentum and trying to rebuild it.
It's that same corner where skaters have had issue all weekend long.
What a save from Sun Long there. Well, Ole Honde really stretched for the line there.
Hope he's okay. It's one of the incidents is for Frederick Pedersen on Oleg Honde. That has been cleared. So that's one down, 2 to go. Second one is on an incident involving Sun. Just trying to see what they're looking at in the review room. Yeah, it is the incident involving Sun and Atan. Maybe there was a coming together, perhaps coming out of the corner. So here's Pedersen going down. I believe that's the incident that was cleared. And there is Atan and Sun. And then the third incident is perhaps Oleg Honde on Frederick Pedersen. That has also been cleared, so there's just one incident in the middle there. And I
think what we're looking at is that fall from Atan was just him falling, but it impeded the race of Sun Long, who was in a qualifying position. Right. So I think they may be looking to advance him despite not having a disqualification for Atan, just for him falling.
Right, him being in a position to advance and being the victim of another person's misfortune. So yeah, no call, it doesn't look like, on any of them. And so the results are finalized. So it's Kyo winning, Sun second, and Oleg Honde 232.904. And so it was a little bit faster than heat number one, and so Oleg Honde now will be on the clock. But there are faster heats possible, but whether the skaters actually go for it remains to be seen.
In a 232, not a quick 1,500 meter time by any stretch. Like there's skaters capable of going low 2-minute 2:03. I think was Mike Gilday's unofficial world record, but I think so. Going sub 2:10 is certainly capable. We won't see that, I don't think, in these rounds, but going sub 2:32.
Through all those collisions, it is Veracruz getting up to fourth, and so if you're just looking at numbers, solid result there. Start list for heat number 3.
Go to the start. Ready.
So 2 Vikings, a Nomad, a Golden Star, a Racing Rue. And also I'm looking at this, 2 skaters who over the course of this European swing have tried to launch long-range attacks in the 1500. Raphael Moret on the front trying it yesterday, and Lucas Wareham, who tried it a week ago in Tilburg. Speaking as a neutral, I always look for someone to shake things up, and you know, they become the darling of the neutral supporter if they try the audacious long-range attack. Not trying it so far, it seems.
No, I don't think we'll see it in this race now. We've had a couple laps go by, so that really kind of hinders that attack.
Is Morin on the front, as Mika Klevstuen, one of the 2 Norwegian Vikings. Just the one Klevstuen this weekend. Paulina, his sister, has also raced on World Tour, and Morin now picking things up, seeing who can stick with them. It's not really a full-on attack. He's not pulling a surprise, but he's just trying to stretch things out and see who has the legs.
You got to watch when you create this separation that's not too big, because the pack catches you quickly and they just consume you, as we see Rainis Berzins moving up the inside. Lucas Wareham tucking up, now making that inside pass.
Berzins certainly one of the most experienced in this field, and he's just letting Cliff Stewin do the work now.
So that's something that skaters often manage in a 1500 meters. If they're making a pass to the front, that they don't try to over gap the field, because then the field responds and then they close you with a lot of speed. And when that happens, you find yourself having made an effort to the front and then just finding yourself back and forth or even further back in the pack.
Dawson took a bump there. There is a review of an earlier incident. You see the yellow dot in the corner of your screen. Cliff Stewin going toe-to-toe with Berzins and Nassen.
Nassen's gonna have to try to set up again here.
And it is Berzins really in cruise control right now, and it would be a good result for Mika Cliff Stewin if he can get over. Yeah, he gets second there. Potential advancing to a repechage quarterfinal, or semifinal rather. And the incident being reviewed involves Lucas Wareham and Ibek Nassen.
Well, you can see Cliff Stewin defending Nassen at the end of that race. Nassen made his pass attempt, and afterwards trying to make something happen again, but you see the hands coming down on the knees, and that's a sure sign of there's a lot of burn happening in those legs right now.
There's a bit of a wobble from Nassen coming out of that corner. So it's a possible arm block on Lucas Wareham is what they are looking at. Interesting. Mika and Cliff Stewin just about side by side at the finish. They are 72nd and 73rd ranked in the world, so evenly matched there at the end. They pipe in the ominous music never too early when the review is underway.
Berenice Berzins, who we just saw win that race, trains in the Netherlands with the Dutch Lions. It's interesting to hear how all the different skaters train with different groups, and even with amongst the Latvian Golden Stars, you have Roberts Kruisberg's training in Poland, while his compatriot is training in the Netherlands with the Dutch Lions. So they even split up sometimes because there's not enough numbers for them to make their own team quite yet.
Looking at the likes of Lucas Wareham too, he's in Salt Lake City. Brendan Corey spends a lot of his time in Italy training with the Italian side up in Bormio. So yeah, it's these small programs figuring out. Down to the ice.
After review, penalty for skater 106 from Australia.
So it's a penalty for Lucas Wareham, but no advancement taken. So 2:26, 8:21, that's the fastest heat we've had so far.
See if we get a review of that. We're looking for an arm block from Lucas Wareham on Nassen.
They do get a look back at the incident. And here we go.
So let's keep an eye on the left arm here, Lucas Wareham. They're just making contact with the leg of Nassen, really affecting his speed.
Heat number 4 on the ice. Quentin Felcox, Denik Sapal, Peter Riches, Wesley Yates, Ben Jung, Matthias Wolfgang, and Nico Anderman.
Go to the start. Ready?
It is Maverick off the front. That would be Peter Riches, 23 years of age. Has trained both in long and short track. Moved to Heronvane. Trained in both for a while, but that British team is in Nottingham.
Well, the finishing time of Nassen in the previous rep quarter was a 2:26.82 for his qualifying time. Peter Riches starting this race off at a faster pace in the previous heats, in those low 10s already. So this may be the strategy here of Peter Rich, is just kind of hedging his bets, keeping the pace alive. So he's looking for one of those top 3 spots. Of course, you don't want to rely on that 3rd place, but there's been no advancements yet, and I'm sure the skaters are paying attention to that.
Of course, the playing with fire is the faster you go, there's that increased chance of incidents that would get reviewed and then potential advancements. So
that's right.
6 of one, half a dozen of the other sort of situation. Belcock right behind him. Sepal. 1, 2, and 3. So the tempo's up. Nobody's really making the moves. Anderman taking a look up the inside of the 3rd. I believe that's Anderman. No, yes, it is. There's 2 Austrian skaters.
Sepal moving back up into 3rd. Anderman looking up the inside. Shoulder to shoulder with Yates.
Now the bumping begins with 3 to go. Belcock looks for the lead. Riches trying to keep him to the outside, but Belcock makes the move stick. And Sepal now up into 2nd.
Peter Rich is going to want to hold on here. Looks like he's taking a look up the inside. Not there, though.
And that opens the door for Anderman to go up the inside with the nice move, but it will be Quentin Belcock. Moving on, Sepal as well. And it is Nico Anderman, the 2:15.38 fastest heat we've seen so far. But still clean.
Yeah, and got to feel for a little bit for Peter Riches, because he did all the work in that race to push this time. And then Anderman, working his way through the pack, finding that inside pass on the last turn to move into 3rd and steal that time qualification spot from Peter Riches in the last lap. Good race.
The risk you take, though, taking the lead for so long. You're not drafting, and the burn as you're essentially doing leg squats for that long on the ice. Pretty straightforward race, nothing getting reviewed. Anderman with the lead to get 3rd. He now has the fastest 3rd place time. And at the moment, with no advancements, that would get him on. Heat number 5, Lu Jianshuo, Li Wenlong, Watanabe Keita, Wara Nuajon, Peter Murphy, Timothy Kokelko. So Ice Chillins, Lungs, Ninjas, Ice Bears, Luxembourg, and Wildcats.
Maybe we have to start pitching some Luxembourg team names.
I am willing to offer out a consulting services to try to figure something out. I mean, they have of course, the lion on the crest of Luxembourg, and it's on his sleeve, but that's taken. Already the Dutch lion, so we'll get back to you. The Dukes, because it's a Dookie of Luxembourg.
Go to the start. Ready?
One thing I have learned as well about Peter Riches, he speaks, what's the technical term? He's one of those multilingual athletes. He speaks English, French, German, and Luxembourgish. It's a very small country. You're right near France, but so it has its own language as well. And things you learn as you dive into the research.
I was not aware of Luxembourgish.
It's a lovely country. I've been through there once on the train, spent a few days in Esch-sur-Alzette, if I remember correctly. Anyway, but they're the capital, Luxembourg City. Anyway, enough lessons for the day. But yeah, Peter Murphy, his sister, Caroline, has also competed for Luxembourg. And so I just always like looking at these little programs, seeing, is this the beginning of something that grows? And they'll be talking about maybe a world tour event there one day.
Yeah.
This one's really ramped up.
Lu Jianshuo and Noiron making some contact there.
Noiron going down. Just missed it out of the corner. I have a TV screen in my eye there, so I couldn't see that corner. It is Watanabe on the front. second. Almost caught legs there with Watanabe, but now Liu picking it up.
Well, Liu's pushing the pace here, already 9-1 with 5 to go on that acceleration lap. That's going to separate the field, but you got to pay attention for Li Wenlong in third right now. Here he is, jumping up the inside.
And makes that stick.
Tidy little pass.
And Watanabe, it's 3 skaters right now. The review has been cleared. You see the green light in the corner of your screen, so no punishment there. And a Li for the lead.
Well, these 3 are really battling it out. Liu Jianshuo falling off the back a little bit, but he can close that up.
Liu gonna size up a move perhaps for second. Does he have the legs is the next big question. Doesn't look like it right now. It's Li taking this one. Watanabe second, and Liu just didn't have it to make the push. So
Well, Watanabe did a nice little deep track on Liu, on that second last corner, and that kind of killed Liu's speed.
So Liu's time at 2:23.41. That, I believe, is our second fastest heat so far. So he is on the bubble right now with 1 heat still to go.
There's another look at that incident between Noiron and Liu Jianshuo.
Just watching the mats today, a little less give in that one. They were a little loose yesterday with some of the collisions, really pushing that, although they might have also just been at high speeds with multiple skaters too.
Yeah, that's right, but it did seem to move less. So there was a lot of movement, a lot of play in the mats when there was crashes yesterday. I think they worked to tighten things up a little bit today.
That is why they do these test events ahead of the Olympic Games next year, so they're hopefully a well-oiled machine by the time the games roll into town.
And being a test event, we really have, I think, the full extent of the organizing committee here with the IOC and kind of going through the paces, preparing for next year's Olympics.
And there you go, Li and Watanabe. Moving on, Liu has to watch one more heat. Heat number 6, Peter Yashapati, Etienne Bastier, Felix Bijon, Sean Chouet, Jonas Hammermuller, and Robin Bendig.
Go to the start. Ready?
In this race, lots to pay attention to. The likes of Yashapati never afraid to mix it up. Felix Bijon same, but then there's youngster Sean Chouet who can turn up the speed, and then you look at the likes of Etienne Bastier. He's now ranked 36th in the world, and that's largely thanks to last weekend making the B final in this 1500.
Yeah, good little field here. Sean Chouet, as you mentioned, just this youngster, the USA Eagles, still kind of learning his capabilities. We've seen how quickly he can go. Seems like quite a tactical skater as well. Very relaxed in his position right now, just reading his body language.
And this one is not going for that time.
No.
So barring advancements, you'd have to look at Liu Jianshuo and Nico Andermann breathing a little bit more comfortably.
Here's Bastier looking to move on the outside.
In these races, there's always the potential for, even with a slow start, chaos to ensue. Hammermuller moving up.
Well, there's some very well-matched skaters in this field, so that usually can result in more contacts and conflicts on the track.
Bendig. Second German Wolf also trying to take a look, but now it's Bastier and Yashapati. And confidence gained by Bastier last weekend. Semi-final, making it to a B final.
Well, so much of skating is psychological and having that confidence in yourself. And when you have that confidence, you feel you have the capability of owning a race from the front, as Bastier is doing right now. You really believe it, then it really helps, helps you make those moves earlier, get to those better positions. Oh, here we see Yashapati making a move up the inside of Bastier.
Bijon also there. It's amazing what knowing I can do it will do for someone's ability to perform.
Well, you lose the fear to react, right? Knowing that you can do it.
And Pigeon up into second, and Yashapati leading now. Shui taking a look at the bell. It's Yashapati leading. Bastier looking to maybe make a move, but no, he's been passed by Shui.
Shui looking for the line here. Pigeon holding tight.
And it looks like it is Yashapati ahead of Pigeon and Shui, maybe just a little bit too late. And what can you say about short track, making it to a B final 1 week and then frozen out the following week in the repechage?
Well, just showing the depth of the field right now. I'm sure that'd be a little bit of a disappointing result for Bastier after his performance last week in Tilburg, but that's the way the cookie crumbles.
Nice usage of that. So, the results aren't confirmed just yet. I still think Pigeon hung on for second. Shui pushed though. And yes, confirmed. Yashapati Pigeon, as we suspected, the time is not quick enough to get a third fastest time. So Anderman and Liu both through in those third place spots. Nobody getting advanced. And so results are confirmed. And so we're actually going to see these guys again pretty quickly in the repechage semifinals, although the ice is going to be that little bit more chewed up when we see it. You see the qualifiers will turn around, and those repechage semis are difficult because it's really just going to the winners often. And so we shall see. But we change gears a little bit into the women's 1,000-meter repechage quarterfinals. 6 heats. Only the heat winners and up to 4 fastest second place skaters qualify for the repechage semifinal. See the heat here. Kamila Stormovska, Annabelle Green, Medina Jen-Busanova, Betty Muska, and Kim Hyo-jin.
Go to the start. Ready.
We would have to look at the likes of Stormovska in this one. She's the top seeded skater in the field. At 19 in the world. Her medals, though, in the old World Cup have come in the 1,000, 500, and various relays. So looking at preferred events, maybe not it for Stormovska, but there is that pedigree for the 24-year-old from Elblag, now living in Gdansk. It is Muska of the Wolves on the front. But Green, we know of her speed in the 500 meters. Things ramping up now in the 1,000. Hey, are you proud I didn't get confused thinking it's the 1,500
That's right.
today?
Whoa,
Oh, and it's Muska down.
Yep. Her and Annabelle Green just making some contact in that corner. That will get a review.
Kim makes the move for second. Green takes it back. It is still Stormovska on the front.
Well, the 1,000 meters, the one individual event that starts and finishes at the same line. The 500 meter, the 1,500 meter start on opposing sides from the finish.
So what they're actually looking at is potentially Muska for what's being reviewed, but we'll see what happens there. And Stormovska takes it. Green second, Kim up for third. Now we will go to the review. But yes, small measures of pride. I know we're not supposed to talk about ourselves that often, but so often this season I've gotten confused after the men's 1,500 meter repechage quarterfinals thinking it's the women's 1,500 meters, but right away I knew it was the 1,000. Always a bit of a grab bag with the replays here. This is Muska still there. Might this be the incident? There it is.
Muska just shifting over. Annabelle tight on the entry.
Potential lane change outside to in, and so she would not have been in an advancement position in second place. So not looking, I don't think, for a possible advancement, but was still a good chunk of the race left when it happened, so. And so it has been cleared. In the end, Muska was the only one to suffer a sort of penalty from this, and so there is not going to be any supplemental penalizing from it, as her day is done now anyway, at least in this event. But Stormovska is through, and Annabelle Green now seeing if that holds up as one of the up to four fastest second place times. 1:39.248. Number 2, Olga Tikhanova, Gabriela Topolska, Yelizaveta Sidorko, Holly Hoyland, and Lam Ching Yan. And this is one where, in that serpentine way of seeding races, this is pretty close in the grand scheme of things.
Go to the start. Ready.
Tikhanova, the top seed, he's ranked 31st in the world. Hoyland, the lowest seeded skater, down to 63rd, so it's not like it's a huge gulf there.
No, and Topolska and Tikhanova are only separated by 2 spots in the rankings. I think they'll be duking it out for the win of this race, and as you talked about the advancement, the winner of each race, and then the next 4 fastest seconds. So another way that we call that is just a 1+4 advancement. So the winner and the next 4 fastest seconds.
So if the top seeded skaters go toe to toe up ahead and something happens, there's always opportunity for the other skaters. But yeah, like I said, it's not a huge gap in ranking at the moment. Topolska, the second ranked skater, or second seeded skater, is sitting right at the back with Tikhanova on the front, Sidorko behind her.
And Tikhanova's pulling this pace quite quickly, down to 9.5s here. So that makes it increasingly difficult to move up the pack. We have to see if she can maintain this speed and this pace.
Enjoying a bit of a draft inside 3 to go. Tikhanova really stretching things now. Good race for Sidorko, keeping in contact with them. It's a battle for the lead. Going way deep there was Topolska.
Well, great inside pass from Topolska there.
And it will be Topolska taking the victory ahead of Tikhanova. And so in the end, it is the top 2 on paper, with the top 2 results at the line with Topolska.
Well, Tikhanova really pushed the pace there. She was at down to 9.5s midway through the race, but then as the laps continued on, she was actually starting to fall off the pace. She was 9.5, 9.6, 9.6, 9.8. So you have to balance that expenditure of energy. How much do you attack? How early? Because you want to be trying to finish near your top speed rather than going out hard and then slowing down, because that's when skaters are able to make moves. As you're losing speed, if they're carrying, they can make these passes, as Topolska did right here.
And that was the faster of the 2 heats so far. Tikhanova with a 1:34.444, but good win. And heat number 3 out on the ice already. We'll get the results confirmed as they drop in some more water around the corners. Bucket there on the corner. Results confirmed. Topolska wins. Tikhanova now will watch and wait. Heat number 3, Gwendolyn Dode, Valentina Askic, Udogawa Ki, Natalia Malashevska, and Louisiana Stahl. Askic, one of those skaters who we see sort of flirting with getting into the World Tour program regularly.
Go to the start. Ready.
Another one of those small programs like Croatian side when you just have the 2 women regularly out here, Askic and Katarina Budic. But Askic is just one of those ones who we see regularly at least challenging, getting close to those top skaters.
Yeah, just kind of on the bubble, looking for a breakthrough moment there. She finds herself in the race. She's done a great job, often getting through these repechage rounds up into the World Tour main events. She is the top-ranked skater here, ranked 23rd, in fact, in this distance.
Malashevska behind is ranked 30th as the next closest seeded skater. She's known more for her multiple World Cup victories in 500-meter races. But with the new format, specialists are well, they're still there, but a lot of skaters, the all-round is what really is the desire these days if you're looking for crystal glow points. Dode battling off Malashevska, but here comes Askic sneaking up the inside. It's Kurokawa on the front.
Askic looking to set up another pass here, looking out wide. Nice outside pass.
Makes it stick. Really the front two right now. Stahl making moves perhaps on Dode, while Dode stumbles coming out of the corner. She was just trying to set up, I think, on Kurokawa. Unfortunate for her, but Askic taking it, and Kurokawa up for second with a 1:35.73. But again, coming out of that corner, it's that corner exit that's causing some of the issues this weekend, and what you've pointed out, it's mostly skaters just towing in.
It's a little bit different. Typically when it's due to ice conditions, you just see them kind of riding an edge and it breaking away from them. Seems to be a little bit, maybe if skaters are getting too forward on their blades, leaning a little bit too much on the toe and it just catching the toe when breaking in.
Askic is through, and Kurokawa.
This Dode's bringing that recovery leg through and just clipping the toe on the ice, and that's all it takes to set you off, is just fine margins. You know, the blades are always so close to the ice, quite different from other ice sports where you have these very long blades.
Kurokawa goes 1:35.715. That is now on the clock. It is the second fastest of the three heats so far. Askic all smiles. One race away from getting back to the World Tour program for the afternoon. Results heat number 4. As Zhang No Do-hee, Svetlana Repechage, Tineke Dendalk, and Aurélie Levesque. Up the ice. What's the difference? Of course, we know why they patch and flash freeze, but for someone who might not see it, the water being poured around the corners.
Well, we've talked about, you know, ice chipping, ice breaking. The water just helps kind of soften the track there. It helps keep the track fresh while the skaters are racing. It even kind of fills voids or ruts that are forming and helps freezing in there, so smoothing it over, just leveling the ice out. It has a big impact on the ice conditions, just kind of warms it up and softens it a little bit, gives it a little bit more grip rather than breaking away.
Go to the start. Ready.
Zhang leading the way. All of her international hardware has come via the relay. The 25-year-old who was in Harbin for the Asian Winter Games, a chance to skate at home. No Do-hee on the front and really just queuing up right now. Levesque. Another one who's never been afraid to go on a flyer and take a move, and she goes all the way to the front.
Well, you've heard me talk about it before. Leading the race, never a bad position to be in. You know, if there's any contact, someone passing you, you're in a position to be advanced. You're also hopefully creating some drama behind you, and we see some skaters interacting, trying to move around, and Zhang looking to do that on No Do-hee. So if those create contacts, the skaters behind you can really let you get away if they're battling it out with each other, as No Do-hee moves tight inside pass into the lead.
Levesque trying to battle back. The door is closed on her. No, now she has Zhang Yizhe behind her at the bell. No in front. Again, Levesque looking up the inside. It's just not there. She keeps looking for it, but now she's in danger of slipping to third. It is going to be, they go out wide.
Oh,
I think No hangs on, and Zhang does get it late, so shake of the head. Unfortunate for Levesque. She second was sitting there for so long. There is an incident being reviewed. It has been cleared, however.
well, Zhang Yizhe was carrying some really good speed on the outside, but you start kind of two-footing through the corner. You really got to try to keep those feet moving. Just know you're committing to that outside pass for the finish to carry your speed. And if you're maintaining, if you're staying even on the corner while on the outside, you're skating a wider radius, you're carrying more speed. So when you hit that straightaway, you're going to come out quicker than the skater on your inside. Here's another look.
No did go out wide in the stretch to the line.
And that kind of blocked off the lane for Zhang Yizhe.
She drifted out, but I still think it was those top two indeed. Levesque getting up for third, but a 135.74, or 135.732 is now her time for Zhang. Just a few hundredths slower than Kurokawa's time in heat number 3. And so still racing clean, no advancement, so they remain that way. 2 fastest second place skaters would not move on. There are the results. No is through. Zhang is TBD. Heat number 5, Sofia Konya, Nakashima Mide, Lisa Eckstein, Danucha Chataisong, and Thea Johansson. And look at the top 3 seeded skaters. Konya, Nakashima, and Eckstein, all relatively close in the world rankings.
Go to the start. Ready.
Just looking at that again, Konya 32nd, Nakashima 29th, and Eckstein 40th. Then there is a bit of a gulf to Chataisong and Johansson, but Chataisong has shown no fear in getting to the front, or at least trying to upset the apple cart a little bit.
And partly her ranking's a little bit lower as a result of not having done as many World Tour stops. So sometimes it's not always an accurate reflection of the skater's ability, what their ranking is if they've missed some events on the course of the season.
You have been impressed with some of the, I think you were talking about the track patterns of the Thai skaters.
Yeah, well, track pattern, even just technique, it takes a lot of time to develop technique. And I'm not sure how much access to ice these Thai elephants have or where they're training. That's kind of what I was saying yesterday. I'd love to get a little bit more information on this team because I've been quite impressed with their skating.
It is Konya and Kashima on front right now. Eckstein trying to get up into third. Johansson goes down. And now Eckstein does make the move into third. Taisong trying to stay in that draft. Side 3 to go. Konya, Nakashima, and Eckstein. They will get the bell this time around. Nakashima makes a stab up the inside for the lead. Gets it to stick. Eckstein now trying to take a look. Doesn't look like the door is open. Nakashima will take the win. Konya second. Eckstein third. Nothing is getting reviewed. I believe it was Johansson. A self-inflicted incident.
Quicker time in this race than some previous ones, so that time should stand for Konya as we only have 1 heat remaining. No advancements thus far.
Considering, I think the Elephants were at one other stop this season. I'm trying to remember where they've been this season, but one of those teams where give them a few more international events. And I think Chataisong actually in one of the Asian games was in a heat with Kim Gi-lee actually coming second to Kim.
Well, Chataisong seemed to be more of a 500-meter specialist. We saw some terrific starts from her yesterday, and it may just take a bit more time for her to develop her speed and endurance to sustain these 1,000-meter events.
When you have the technique, that's a huge part of the battle, I'd imagine.
Absolutely. Getting that technique, that efficiency, that comfort level with speed, you know, as you're going faster, be able to be relaxed. The top skaters are able to stay relaxed at speed, and that helps them keep their endurance throughout the race. It's when you're going faster and you start to tense up your muscles a little bit more, fatigues you. So being able to find that relaxation at speed.
And heat number 6. Alina Azhgalieva, Katarina Budic, Miroslava Selyakova, Petra Vankova, Hedvig Hilda, and Phoebe Stens.
Six skaters in this race.
Go to the start. Ready.
Big field for 1,000.
And very tightly ranked. Highest ranked skater 42nd, lowest ranked skater 67th of these 6 skaters. So this is going to be a competitive race. This one will probably push the time a little bit. We see that already, the pace picking up. Selyakova making her way to the front, getting the speed going early.
Selyakova, 20-year-old.
9.6 already.
So the big question, going out fast, are you able to sustain it, especially with one skater on the front?
Well, I mentioned that earlier. You got to watch how quickly you go, how early, because if you're slowing down towards the end of the race, you're not able to maintain that pace. That makes you vulnerable to skaters behind you.
We lost Hilda somewhere in there. She was down in the corner there. She used to be in a little bit of pain. Obviously, fingers crossed that she is okay. And it is Azhgalieva on the front right now. Azhgalieva from Oral. She's still just 19 years old. And it's her and Vankova on the front now Selyakova perhaps feeling the exertion.
Maybe a little bit too much too early there from Selyakova. Oh!
And down goes Vankova. That opens the door for second. It is Azhgalieva on the front. Budic suddenly now finds herself in second and maybe chasing that time. And down goes Azhgalieva on her on the same corner.
Same spot.
And it is Budic who is going to perhaps take the victory. And she does just that. Never say die. Never say never in this sport.
And hey, that ended up working out perfectly for Selyakova as she gets the second place finish.
And it is faster than some of the 135s we've seen. She got a 134.44. Phoebe Stens gets up into third.
Well, let's watch for the replays. I saw, okay, there's Hilda just going back on her heels.
That was down
Vankova just catching the right toe. Same as we saw earlier from Dode. Same corner.
So we missed Azhgalieva's too, and it was her again on her own. And
she may have just caught the rut caused by Vankova there.
so you're always saying it's always better to cross the rut instead of getting stuck in it.
Yeah, it's not easily done. It's easy, of course, for me, it's easy to say up here. Cross the rut,
too.
Right? Yeah. Well, what happens is skaters are repeatedly following the same track pattern, and then what happens is ruts form along that track pattern. So what you're trying to do, if you can be aware of it and you don't have too much fatigue in your legs, is offsetting that track ever so slightly where you're coming on the exit of the corner to try to come across the ruts rather than going through the ruts.
So good result for Katarina Budic. Gets up, and she had been caught behind Selyakova too as the two skaters went off, and then they both go down, and Budic gets the win. Selyakova, her early effort is rewarded with advancement to the repechage semifinal. So you see Konya, Selyakova, Tikhonova, and Kurokawa get the advancements on time. And the men's 1500 meter repechage semifinals, they're back out. 2 heats, 7 skaters per heat, and this is where there is little to no margin for error. One first place skater getting into the semifinals this afternoon. Of course, asterisk, advancements do happen as well, and they don't take away from any of those first place positions. So there is always the possibility that we see some packed fields this afternoon, but for the moment, just the winners moving on.
Go to the start. Ready.
So win and you're in.
Win and you're in. And so this is one of the races where they're not worrying about time. It's just a race amongst themselves. Velkok on the front, Sepal, Anderman, Watanabe, Pigeon, Hio, and Tracy. And even this, take your pick.
This is, again, these rep semifinals, this is a tough field. Only taking the winner. You really got to execute a perfect race here.
So you got the likes of, got the youngsters, you've got some more experienced skaters. I mean, Watanabe, he is, just doing the math, 32 years of age. Turns 33 next month from Kawagoe, just outside of Tokyo, but he certainly brings a lot of experience. One of those rare skaters over 30 years old.
Yeah, certainly less common in short track to see skaters over 30.
Carrying the hopes of a generation. St. Paul on the front, the former inline skater.
I'm watching for Niall Tracy in the back, as we know he likes to go to the front. He's got the endurance.
He does like to get on the front. Velkok, we know, has 500-meter speed in his arsenal.
Well, and speed is key in short track. You know, it's often looked at as usually one of the most important skill sets of a short track is just having that top end speed, because if the races are slower like this, it starts to play your favor. You can make moves. Niall Tracy losing his footing on this turn going down, so that really changes things once the other skaters recognize who has fallen.
Fortunate for Tracy, and Hio takes that moment to hit the front. It's another time of a self-inflicted injury, or incident rather. Unfortunate for Tracy. And Velkok moving back into the lead, or pardon me, into second behind Hio.
Well, the skaters in this race, they know who they have identified as threats in the field. Niall Tracy moving up really changes the dynamic. There we see Watanabe.
And Velkok battling back. Hio more than happy to see rivals behind him battling for position. He is off and away. Velkok now his chance to turn on that speed. Inside a lap to go. Here comes the late move. Not going to do it. Hio holds him off.
Fantastic race from Andrew Hio. He skated that one just so smart, making the moves at the right time, getting the lead. It's much better to be trying to defend that lead position rather than try to gain it at the end of a race. Saw Niall Tracy after he fell, picking something up off the ice.
Yeah, there was something there that caught his attention.
Well, try to watch the replay. Watch for Niall Tracy in the back. It's a little bit earlier still because he'd already moved up before he there. Oh, just catching something.
So Hio hanging on there. I believe he did make an A final in Montreal early this year. I know he was in a B final in the 1500. He does get to move back along, and he is through. No advancements from that one. Fortunate incident for now Tracy going down, but Hio with the all-important big Q. He's into the semifinals this afternoon. Heat number 2. Li Wenlong, Lujan Shuo, Reynes Berzins, Mika Klevstuan, Peter Yashapati, Sun Long, and Gleb Ivchenko. Another one very tough to get to the point where even these repechage semifinals, it's tough to handicap. It's a healthy Norwegian contingent for one of the smaller teams, but they are they've sent a full contingent of men's skaters. They entered a men's relay team. Just Hilda on the women's side, but as I've spoken of, there's Polina Klevstuan as well entered on the World Tour. Talked quite a bit about the great, of course, long distance Norwegian long track program, and we do know what Norwegians can do when they put their minds to building winter sports. You look at the likes of cross-country skiing, biathlon, and if they set their minds to it, it's a pretty high ceiling for them.
It'll be interesting with the Norwegian Norwegian program, if they can kind of tap into some of the long track skaters that they have at their disposal, they have some phenomenal skaters.
Just a bit of delay. I know their officials taking a look at the ice, if there's anything wrong there.
Well, it's never easy to make predictions in this race, but I'm going to keep a close eye on Sun Long. Obviously, he's an easy favorite with the highest ranking 1500 meter world champion, but I really feel he's got the ability to try to win this one here.
Go to the start. Ready?
They explode off the line. No. It's almost sort of anticlimactic at times. We see them all get down. There's the quiet moment, and then treading lightly off the line. But that's the nature of the 1500.
And they're also just prepared that maybe one of their competitors will go off the line. So it's kind of just got to wait. Is anyone going? Oh, okay.
Nobody's listened to me just yet. It's Ivchenko on the front. Ivchenko, 23 years of age. And Berzins, as Tyler mentioned, he trains in Heerenveen. Roberts Grisbergs trains in Poland. Just look at the smaller teams where they just kind of scatter around the world. I know Sean McAnuff of the Irish Wolfhounds trains in Hungary. Other ones trains in Korea.
If you're wondering why, it's so critical in short track having training partners. It's a sport in which you have to interact with skaters around you. So valuable to have training partners to work on passing and drafting and the tactics of racing. At the same time, you also need the facilities and the venues that you can train in appropriately. Here's Li Wenlong, quick move in the outside. Now we have the two Chinese lungs leading the front of this race.
Sun had almost backed off a little bit, and then Lee went a bit on a flyer. Berzins is tracking it. Inside, 6 to go. Berzins making a move up the inside on Lee, and he gets there. You mentioned training partners and sort of researching the season. It seemed like just about every country made a move through Bormio in the off-season to train the Italians, the Dutch, the Chinese, the Australians. There was quite the cohort there training in northern Italy, and of course groups training in Montreal as well. The Belgians tend to be there. Lee looking for an opening to try to close that gap. It is still Sun on the front, and when it's the world champion on the front, it's going to be tough. Shoulder to shoulder, Berzins and Lee.
Long just jumping up there, taking that spot. Lu Jianshuo capitalizing here, trying to make a move on the outside. Li Wenlong holding him off.
And he makes the move on Sun. Lu can't quite squeeze through as well. It is tight through that last corner, and Lee goes through and crosses the line first. That incident with Berzins will be reviewed.
Well, haven't seen what they're calling yet. It felt like it might have been a bit of a late pass by Li Wenlong on Berzins.
And potentially lane change outside to in as
Okay.
Lee and Berzins really went shoulder to shoulder heading into that corner. Again, Lou.
I think this is a look here. Oh yeah, a little bit of a lane change. You see Berzins shifting his track over.
Again, fight back from Lou. Just keeping an eye on him. He's still skating some junior World Cups recently, but one of those guys who you feel like you give him a bit more time and he's not afraid to mix it up, and he's just there knocking at the door. Look at the review room.
There's another look, so we'll watch Rainey's Berzins in second.
So he
Couple
was
bumps
on the
there, yeah.
outside. And a second one. Everybody stayed on their skates though. Looking possible lane change outside to in there on the straight. In the end, Berzins is the one who came off the worst of it. Still looking at it. We are heading into our first ice resurfacing break of the day. When we come back, it will be the women's 1,000-meter repechage semifinals, and then we get into men's 500s.
Camera angles really change the perspective of some of these incidents. You know, that the officials are going to be looking at them from all angles. Gives you different viewpoints, seeing the movement of the skaters on the track, seeing where their shoulder positions are in the entry, who's kind of trying to force their way in where.
We have multiple camera angles to choose from. Quite the international contingent. There's fans from China. I see Swiss flag, of course Italian flag, British flag, Belgian flag. Have I missed any Norwegian? We of course see we'll imagine those same Polish fans will be out. We saw Hungarian flag, and so.
Imagine a lot of families coming here to scope out the venue, scope out Milan. Maybe they're preparing plans, hopefully to be returning in 1 year's time.
And so they have finished their look. They're tapping in the results now, and we'll throw it down to ice level for the ruling.
After review, penalty for skater 37 from Latvia.
And it's Berzins getting penalized. No advancement, as it was on Li Wenlong, and he ended up winning the race. And so Sun Long frozen out.
He was.
His teammate goes through in that one. So Hio and Li Wenlong will race in the 1,500-meter semifinals as part of the afternoon's program. We now head into the ice resurfacing break. We get going in at 11:19 a.m. local time as you take a look at that ruling. We'll just guide you through there. Outside to in. That is the penalty right there. But Lee just goes on to wins the race, leaving all doubt behind him. And you'll get the graphic showing Lee and and in the end, Niall Tracy does get an advancement. There will be an advancement. He did step on something. There was actually a piece of metal that they found. I read the note that has come up there. And so Niall Tracy will move into the semifinals as well. He got advanced. He went down in that first heat. He did end up hitting a piece of metal, apparently, that was on the ice. So Tracy does move on. And we'll be back in about 13 minutes for the women's 1,000-meter repechage semifinals. First heat of the women's repechage 1,000-meter semifinals. Skaters coming out onto the ice. Are going to get going in, well, less than a minute's time. 2 heats, 5 skaters. The winner, barring advancements, of course, moves on. We did see an advancement in that men's 1500 just going into the break. Remember when Niall Tracy went down in the men's 1500-meter semis, he stepped on something. There was a piece of metal or something on the ice, and due to the incident that was beyond his control, they did advance him to the semifinals tonight. This afternoon?
This afternoon, yeah.
Afternoon.
So, finding a piece of metal on the ice, there could be sometimes blades chip off the start. I don't think we saw any races where blades were broken necessarily, so perhaps squeegee, who knows where this piece came from, but
Yeah.
we did see him pick it up afterwards.
1,000 meters, Katarina Buric won one of the quarterfinals. Zofia Konya, Katarina Buric, Miroslava Selyakova, Nodohi,
Go to
and
the start.
Mila Stormovska.
Ready.
Buric and Selyakova in a heat where they went for speed. At least Selyakova went early, and she was able to take advantage of some skaters who had gone down, and her speed that she had put up ended up being quick enough, and she's doing it again.
Doing it again here. Certainly not an easy strategy to go with. It's you definitely have to push your body to make these pulls and challenge the rest of the field.
Stormovska, 19th ranked in the world, perhaps the skater to watch in this one, but Nodohi does not have a world ranking, and she's not really been out in this distance, so I guess she would be considered a wild card now. Grupo Compacto again.
Stormovska now looking to take the lead, setting up wide around the outside of Nodohi. Nodohi defending well, but here we have Konya jumping up as well.
Bumping Konya, Stormovska, and Stormovska comes out ahead in that one. And Selyakova feeling the strain in the legs again. It is Stormovska now really just picking things up. She has 2 to go. Buric trying to stay in contact. Of course, she knows what happens.
See if Konya can respond to this last lap. Setting out wide. Like to see that. Looking for an opportunity here up the inside.
And they bump, but it is still Stormovska. Still 4 skaters in it right now. It is Stormovska taking it. No goes second, and I believe Buric might have jumped up ahead of Konya for third. Buric, earlier on, she had skaters going down in front of her, and was just there, just in case, but could not make the late move.
Well, Konya made that inside attempt going to the last corner. It's kind of shut out. She lost all of her speed, and that kind of opened up the opportunity for Buric to take advantage. But it's kind of all or nothing here, so you got to go for it. You got to try to make something happen.
And occasionally that does lead to the incidents, but Stormovska comfortably handling that one. Get off the phone. There's racing going on. Sorry, I'm yelling at the audience.
I wish we could have seen like another close-up on the strap of Stormovska there. She has a saying on her skate. It looked like it's just a game, it said.
One way to take it, just have fun.
A good reminder to enjoy the process.
And that has allowed her at least to get into the quarterfinals. No advancements, nothing getting a second look. And yeah, so Stormovska, no, and Buric 1, 2, and 3. Heat number 2, Nakashima Midei, Gabriela Topolska, Olga Tikhonova, Valentina Askic, and Kudokawa Ki. And this is another one of those ones where it's very tightly seeded. The lowest seed, Askic 23rd, but then Nakashima 29, Tikhonova 31, Topolska 33, Kudokawa a bit off at 53, but you feel that will change.
Go to the start. Ready.
So sometimes the rankings are, of course, based on you've just done fewer events than other skaters.
Mm-hmm.
And Kudokawa, the 24-year-old. And she's the one on the front right now. Nakashima, the 2 ninjas in tandem, but Askic, the one to watch.
Well, Askic has experience getting through these repechage rounds. She knows what it takes. Still caught on the outside, though. I want to see her try to get back in.
There's a lot of effort being spent on the outside, still being kept out there. Persistence.
This
Will
is
it
going to
pay
add
off?
up. It's going to add up. It's going to take a toll doing all this work on the outside.
Now she
Tucking
tries
back
the
in.
inside.
Polska gets bumped out from Tikhanova.
That will get reviewed. And now Askic trying to regain some speed. It is some good defensive work by Nakashima Mide and Kurokawa on the front, but we watch to see what Askic has left.
Tikhanova now making an attempt.
2 to go. And again, Tikhanova into Askic. They both go down, and it's the two ninjas now battling for the one spot at the line, and it will be Nakashima Mide taking it just ahead of Kurokawa. 2 incidents getting looked at, I think both of them involving Tikhanova.
Well, if you're making a pass attempt on the outside, it's just so important to make it as efficient as possible. You have to really commit to it. You don't want to get caught on the outside. This is what we saw with Askic here. Nakashima was responding very well to her outside attempts. Just getting caught outside, that bump set her off, losing some speed, trying to re-accelerate, and then finding herself back in third, defending. A little bit of a step out wide on Tikhanova there from Askic, so we'll see what they're reviewing.
Both of them actually potentially involving Askic. One is a potential lane change from outside to in that involved Topolska, and then another one inside to out on Askic on Tikhanova.
Either way, the decision won't affect the outcome of this race.
Nope, Nakashima going through to the 1,000-meter quarterfinals. Then, of course, if there's 2 penalties in one race for the same skater, we've learned that could also merit a yellow card.
There's no immediate impact from the yellow card, but there is. If you take a second yellow card, then you will be out for the remainder of the weekend.
Something we also learned last weekend for the first time this season.
Noel William Danjanu taking 2 yellow cards last weekend, the 500 meter and 1,000 meter, and that had him held out of the relay event, the Ice Maples in the 5,000 meter.
This is incident number 1. She changed lane from outside to in is what they're looking at there. She had been caught on the outside and was just trying to find a place to go to get back into the draft.
Making contact with Topolska, knocking her out of the race.
And then the late one.
There's that shift over wide to block Tikhanova.
Yes, they are noting a possible yellow card for 2 penalties in one race. When you're spending so much time out there, spending so much energy, the fatigue is setting into the brain a little bit there, and you're trying to find any opening you can.
Do whatever you can to hold on. And never that I would ever encourage skaters to be skating with moves that are aggressive, but at the same time, you don't want to be known as a skater on the circuit that's easy to pass, right? So it also sends a message, okay, if I'm making a pass on Askic, I got to make sure she's going to battle to hold her position, right?
You're earning it every step of the way.
That's right.
And decisions have been made. And down to the ice.
After review, we got a yellow card for number 54 from Croatia.
So it is 2 incidents that would have merited a penalty, mean a yellow card. Nothing really out of malice. It's just 2 racing incidents that she was the perpetrator on.
Yeah. Another way you get a yellow card is from dangerous skating.
Certainly
so that
was
could be
not that.
no, that could be a singular incident. However, that's very, very dangerous. That they will flag as a yellow card. In very, very extreme cases, could be a red card, which would just immediately send you out of the competition. But it's very, very rare that we ever witness red cards being handed out.
It's not from her flying dangerously into the corner, just 2 incidents that merited a penalty. Outside to in, and then inside to out right there. So unfortunate for Askic, but it is Nakashima going through. And we will see her later on in the quarterfinals. And now Back to the men. This time, 500-meter repechage quarterfinals. We have, count them up, 8 heats. First place skater from each race and a maximum of 2 fastest skaters go on to the repechage semifinal. So with this many heats, so few spots. Buckle up.
Go to the start. Ready?
See Martin Kolenc, Quentin Vercock, Jonas Hammermuller, and Zdenek Sepal, and Kwok Fung. And using that position 1, Martin Kolenc.
Let's watch for Koch in second here, setting out wide on that Turner entry. Looking inside, is not there. Kolenc able to keep his speed on the exit of that turn. Not creating any opportunities for Koch just yet.
Really, these top 2 right now. Vercock going wide as he's sizing up another move, trying to go wide again. This time, he makes it stick.
Beautiful pass from Koch there. I actually initially thought he was setting to go inside. I think he just realized he's carrying the speed so well, he was able to carry it around the outside, which is typically a far safer maneuver to make as a pass goes. Much harder to defend. If you're trying to defend an outside pass, then you're really having to kind of change lanes.
And a tidy win for the man from Normandy, Martin Kolenc. He'll see if his 42.07 holds up. Often we've seen that first heat standing the test of time, but 2 heats, it's a tiny, tiny margin for error, especially if we start seeing advancements.
Well, we've seen, times in the 40-second range in the repechage here. I'd expect to see a couple races in the mid 41s. I'm not sure if that would hold up. And again, we're paying attention for possible advancements that will eat up those time qualification positions.
So Kolenc's time 42.056. Confirmation just there. Heat number 2 as Koike Katsunori, Ninjas Itzhak Dalat, Łukasz Kuczynski, Mark Chismadia, and Purapat Changmai. So when you see a veteran skater like Itzhak Dalat, he's the seeded skater at number 20, but Koike will start out of position 1. But that would have been from their time in qualifying, I would assume.
Setting them up on their lane position?
Yes.
Yes.
Just checking.
Go to the start. Ready?
All the way from position 3, Łukasz Kuczynski. For a moment I thought he had it, but now it's Dalat on the inside of Koike. Can't quite get it.
And when you get squeezed out like that on the inside, it really hinders your speed. So Koike is able to accelerate out of that turn, being on the outside. But Itzhak Dalat closing this gap down.
Is there enough time for another look? He's right up behind. Not really an opening again.
Kuczynski's right on his tail too. Itzhak Dalat trying to jump up the inside.
Not
Kuczynski
open.
looking to go by him.
Kuczynski, that allows him to sneak up into second, but it's not enough. Koike Katsunori goes 41.68. Kuczynski with about a 41.87. So that would be faster than heat number 1, but Itzhak Dalat, the windows weren't there, could not fit through.
Well, Koike just doing a terrific job defending his position in the lead that final lap. Even off the start there, I think it's another look. Oh, this is partway through the race, but holding off Itzhak Dalat's attempt on the inside in that opening lap to secure that lead position.
Koike, a 24-year-old, just turned 40. He's a late December birthday, December 30th. Good result for him, coming in ranked 80th in the world, and he's into the repechage semifinals. There you go, confirmation. Heat number 3, interesting one here. We have now Tracy, we just saw in the 1500-meter repechage. He is in position 1. Brandon Kim, ranked 9th in the world. the USA Eagle. He has gotten to some World Tour programs on a number of occasions. Brandon Kim, Yoshinaga Kazuki, Marcus Howard, the other USA Eagle, and the youngster Martin Prento.
Well, now Tracy really has to use this inside lane start position to his advantage as best he can. Not typically the fastest starter that we have on the circuit, but he's got the advantage of the inside lane with Brandon Kim right next to him, who's going to be doing whatever he can to overtake him on this opening lap.
Kim, the winner of the B final in the first weekend in Montreal in the 500 meters.
I think he might have made an A final as well later in the season. Might have been Beijing or Seoul, I'm remembering.
Go to the start. Ready.
And it is Kim getting that fast start out of position 2.
Marcus Howard jumping up the inside into second position.
And it was, yeah, Brandon Kim 5th in Seoul earlier this season. He now has a wide gap. His teammate has to try to close it. Niall Tracy also there, as is Yoshinaga. But Brandon Kim quick off the line, and now you see the benefit of a fast start. But that gap is coming down.
Well, Marcus Howard has to keep trying to close for time and defend, but Niall Tracy steps out to make a look. That sets him back in behind Yoshinaga.
And it will be Brandon Kim, and it's close for second. Howard, I think, realized at the last second to reach out, and that allowed him to get up into second.
And there's a sub 41 race time there that we see from Brandon Kim. So that's, where we've seen some of the top skiers, and the fastest time we've seen this weekend is around the 40.5 range.
Good race for Kim, the 23-year-old. He is a Philadelphia Eagles fan, and he must have been celebrating, I'm sure responsibly, given the reputation of Eagles fans after their Super Bowl victory. But Brandon Kim, winner here, 40.893 the final time. Marcus Howard, a 41.282, and that is the new fastest second place time. Martin Kolench's time is now off, and unfortunate for him. Heat number 4 as our first look at Liu Xiaowang of the day. Lucas Wareham, Ward Petre, Wesley Yates, and Enzo Prost. And this one, there is a healthy gap in the rankings, and so you would look at Liu to potentially be the man to beat in this one. But we've seen people taking spills and tumbles, and that is the nature of this sport. So let's see what happens.
Go to the start. Ready.
And it is Liu out of position 1, first in the corner. Wareham trying to chase and trying to keep touch as it's an early lead now. What might that do if you have a Liu Xiaowang blasting away? If Liu and Kate stay in touch, the benefit for a time perhaps.
Absolutely, Lucas Wareham's going to do everything he can within his power to try to keep in touch with Liu Xiaowang, who's just flying in this race right now. 8.2 second lap time.
And Liu showing his class, and now Wareham perhaps has to defend. He has 2 Ice Bears approaching. I don't think they're going to have enough time. It is Liu far and away, and Wareham will go 41.3 unofficially. So it's close to Marcus Howard's time. We'll see how that gets adjusted at the finish line. But Wareham able to stay close, but Liu is, well, Liu Xiaowang, and he's pretty darn good.
He's just a beautiful skater to watch. He's just a technician of the sport, he and his brother. Such smooth skaters, such control.
It's a 41.293, so 11 hundredths of a second slower than Marcus Howard, and so Marcus Howard survives the first scare.
You can see Liu Xiaowang coming across that finish line, looking up. I believe the skaters can see their lap times on the board up in the top right or top left corner rather as they cross the finish line. So taking a glance, seeing, okay, yeah, that's pretty good. 40.7, it's a quick time.
is the result. Heat number 5, an interesting prospect on offer. Mircea Zaksabayev in position 1. Park Ji-won, the man who is Crystal Globe for perhaps another day and a half. Brendan Corey of the Australian Racing Ruse, Kyle Ross-Waddell, and Liam O'Brien, our first Irish Wolfhound of the day.
Go to the start. Ready.
And it's a good start for Corey, getting up into second behind Zaksabayev. Ross Waddell moving up ahead of Park, and so Park Ji-won has work to do.
Getting after it right away with a tidy inside pass. Now tracking down Brendan Corey. Zaksabayev's pushing the pace up front.
And here comes Park. Oh, just smoothly up the inside.
And he's
now
gonna go
for
again.
the lead. He's that good. Absolutely showing his pedigree. Now it's a real race for second. Corey sizing up a move, not going to take it on the inside. It's Park Ji-won who will take the heat, and it will be Mircea Zaksabayev getting up to second on that one. And that time 41.47 unofficially, and so they'll adjust it a bit, likely bring it down, but that might not be enough to challenge the top two that we have in the 41.2 range.
Yeah, I think the 41.2 range is going to be a quick time to beat for that time advancement. Still have lots of fast skaters to come, and of course we have to keep our eye out for any advancements. But Park Ji-won just making easy work of this 500 meter. Just doing a bit of a clinic on inside passes there. Maybe just want to practice some passing as he moves into the later rounds of the day today.
Yeah, a chance to work at it, never really flustered despite being bumped back to 4th early. So yeah, the Zaksabayev time not enough. Just the 1 Q next to Park Ji-won's name. And next heat coming up, we have Dennis Orrs, Nico Anderman, Reynes Berzins, Tobias Wolf, and Chonlachart Tapron. And we've seen Orrs show some speed when he's following. Maybe this is the chance to see what kind of speed he has in the front.
Yeah, I'd love to see Orrs just open it up on this one, show us what he's capable of. These Anatolian Pars are known for their speed in the 500 meter. Their team is just coming along so nicely.
That is Tobias Wolf. There is Berzins back on the ice. And the man in position 1, Dennis Orrs, one of the relative newcomers to that Turkish Anatolian Pars program.
Go to the start. Ready.
And indeed, out of position 1, let's see what Dennis Orrs can do in the front of a race. Got Anderman right behind him, Berzins there as well. Here comes Berzins to move into second with a nice inside move.
Well, Dennis Orrs is cruising right now, but he's got Reynes Berzins right behind him, who's going to be sizing up the pass.
Can he make it stick? They're shoulder to shoulder. Orrs is out wide, as is Berzins.
Well, that opens the door for Anderman.
And Nico Anderman, chance for an Austrian 1-2 here in the Repechage quarterfinal. Nico Anderman takes it to be his full second, 41.47 for Anderman. So he will get the spot, and we'll see if there are any advancements on that review. So it might be the one time where we knock out one of those second place skaters, and it's Berzins under review here for the move on Orrs.
So as we watch the review, we're going to be trying to see their shoulder position, who had that lead position entering the corner. Looks like they might be investigating Berzins for failure to give way.
Saying he potentially never got level as part of their review, with Orrs still out in front.
And so they're referencing there the shoulder position of the two skaters as they're entering that corner.
that one has been done relatively quickly as the results get punched in to
And
the results board.
Dennis Orrs was in the lead position, so that would result in it possible. I'd expect an advancement for him if this is the decision.
And that would knock out one of those second place times, meaning likely Lucas Wareham's time. So Marcus Howard would be very much on the bubble. Here's the incident again. Just see if Bearson's ever got level with Orrs.
You could just see Orr's shoulders still just slightly ahead of Berson's.
After review, penalty from number 37 for Latvia, and an advancement for number 179 from Turkey.
There you go. So Bearsons is penalized. Orrs is advanced. And that affects Lucas Wareham's time. Unfortunate for him to be bumped off. So that just means Marcus Howard, one second place time, is potentially open right now. But Undermund's through. Orrs is advanced. Heat number 7 as Kim Tai-sung, Ben Jung. We're actually going to look at it again. But yeah, you can see Bearsons never really gets in front.
He
so
kind of
failure
came
to get
back
away.
on his heels on the exit of the corner, just kind of lost some of his speed that he was hoping to carry into that pass, and that was just the difference, I feel. And tough morning for Rainis Bersons as he racks up 2 disqualifications in the repechage rounds today, but got to give yourself a chance to get through.
Kim Tai-sung, Ben Jung, Lujan Shuo, Sean McAnuff, and Tariq Omaragic. Trying to get back to the World Tour in 2 straight events is McAnuff.
Go to the start. Ready.
Challenge for him coming out of position 4, and Kim Tai-sung, world number 18, out of position 1, jumps to the lead. And Ben Jung is another one who's been skating pretty well.
He's a great sprinter. He's got to hold on to this slight gap with Kim Tai-sung. He's doing that. Now he's got to work to set something up to try to get the victory in this race.
Is Kim with Jung pressing him very, very hard. And it is still Kim Tai-sung on the front right now. Is Jung going to try to take a look? Can he even get there to make a look? And it is Kim leading wire to wire. Jung goes with about a 41.07 unofficially, and that would be potentially the fastest second place time for now. Lou goes for 3rd, and McAnuff gets for 4th ahead of Omaragic. But Kim, wire to wire.
Well, not too much to dissect from that race. Very by the book, as we would say, for a 500 meter.
They started fast, went fast in the middle, and finished fast.
And they all kind of stayed in the exact same order of which they started in, I believe.
Showing the benefits of the inside starting positions. And yeah, Kim Tai-sung is through, and Ben Jung has the new fastest second place time, so that squeezes out Marcus Howard of the USA Eagles. 1 heat still to come. Andrew Hio, Lorenzo Previtali, Rostislav Leontenko, and Peter Murphy.
Who we learned today speaks Luxembourgish.
I'd love to hear someone speak it, see how it compares to the other languages in the region, see if I can't pick up anything from it.
Well, Andrew Hio, certainly the favorite in this race. Inside lane position, world rank 12 in the 500 meter.
Was in the B final in the 500 in Montreal. Montreal number 2 this season.
Go to the start. Ready.
It is Hio indeed out in front, and might that have been the race in the opening few strides to see if he goes off in the distance. Previtali really the only one who can challenge him right now.
Well, Previtali at home here. He's going to want to try to do whatever he can to get through to this World Tour stage in the afternoon, but Andrew Hio really setting a quick pace.
Composed skate, Previtali trying to make a look on the inside. Oh, and he does it!
But he can't
is
hold the
too
exit.
Wide? Hio, Johnny on the spot, getting right back, and he goes down! And it is going to be Previtali. Unfortunate for Andrew Hio. He had Previtali right behind him. It doesn't look like there's anything going to be reviewed.
Well, Andrew Hio was setting the pace there. Previtali with a really nice inside pass, but it was so tight he couldn't hold the exit. Andrew Hio took that right back, carrying so much speed in that next corner though, and breaking out. Here's another look.
And we'll see if we can get a look. Here is the open. Yeah, it's just him on his own. I wonder if maybe there were some blades clicking together, but no, just couldn't hold it. And yeah, he's grabbing his back. Obviously hope he is okay.
Well, sometimes
he's fine. Previtali with a good pat on the back there down on the ice. We don't see it, but here it was.
when you have a fall, you go into the mats. The mats shift over. It's not always a smooth transition from the ice to whichever surface is next to the ice, underneath the mats, and that kind of, if you're laying on your back, can be a cause for injury or just scraping. We saw Ariana Fontana get quite beat up from a few wipeouts of that nature last weekend in Tilburg.
Leah Mead yesterday at Crash, she was grabbing her back a little bit after a spill as well. And so, well, always race to the finish. Andrew Hio, unfortunate for him. Lorenzo Previtali does get the win. I saw him skating off. He just gave him a quick check, seeing if he's okay. So obviously like the camaraderie between the rival athletes. Just Ben Jung moving on out of second place. Dennis Orrs is advanced. And so these guys are going to come back. They still have one more race to do to get into the main program. That's just for the repechage semifinals. And so ice resurfacing to come. You see the start time. That is in about 16 minutes time. We'll see you on the other side. Just about time to get back to work here in Milan. A couple more races for the morning session still to come. First up, men's 500-meter repechage semifinal. We just saw these guys before the ice break. It's a quick turnaround for the likes of Lorenzo Previtali, who was in that last quarterfinal heat. See the start list: Liu Shaoang, Kim Tai-sung, Ben Jung, Nico Andermann, and Lorenzo Previtali. And 2 heats, both with 5 skaters. Only the first place skater from each race qualifies for the quarterfinals. Yeah, you know by now, unless there are some advancements and then maybe some extra guys will go. But when it's 5 guys going for 1 place, there is that increased possibility that someone does get advanced.
We got to do whatever it takes. And you mentioned the quick turnaround, Gavin. Not enough time to do a warm down or cool down and then a warm up again. Really, you're just trying to stay fresh, make sure your equipment's ready to go, and turn around and get back out there on the ice.
Well, for the likes of Previtali, the heat box out is sort of at the opposite end of the rink, and so this is kind of a maze kind of venue, and so for him, he must have just gone for a jog, winding his way back to the heat box to get into the ice.
Go to the start. Ready?
And it is Liu off first. Kim now having a chase, and we saw earlier, once Liu Shaoang flies away, it's a tall order to catch him.
Well, Kim Tai-sung is going to be trying to close his gap with some speed and try to use that to make a move. You're going to have 1 really good shot to make a pass, and that's about all.
And Kim now closing in. He has that shot. Is this it? He's trying to go around the outside.
Going the
Liu
long way.
is going to hold him off. 3 skaters going for it now. And Kim, is there going to be 1 more chance? He slid right up the inside there. And it is Liu taking it just ahead of Kim Tai-sung. So he tried it. He went for it, just not there. There is going to be a review, however. And while we take this review, we missed our chance. There are a few birthdays today. It is Katerina Burich's birthday. We saw her win a 1,000-meter repechage quarterfinal. Etienne Bastier of France as well. So happy birthday to them. We missed them in their races.
Well, happy birthday.
And the results are final. Liu is through to the quarterfinals this afternoon. And just the 1 advancement. No penalties, no advancements. Heat number 2, Brandon Kim, Park Ji-won, Quentin Fercoq, Koike Katsunori, and Dennis Orrs. This one's interesting.
Well, Park Ji-won, not known for having a quick start, but he's shown his ability to pass despite not having the lead position immediately in the race. Brandon Kim has a quick start as well as Quentin Fercoq. So I kind of look to see Quentin Fercoq maybe getting ahead of Park Ji-won after this opener, and then Park Ji-won having some work cut out for him. That would be my prediction of how things might unfold in this next race.
There is the previous heat, under 41 seconds, 2 skaters under 41. But then, of course, you have Dennis Orrs. Tough order for him out of position 5, but we've seen him be able to pick up a lot of speed when he is chasing someone at the front. I would imagine that he might take a stab at some point with whether any move pulls off. And of course, we can't forget about Koike Katsunori. He is the lowest ranked skater in the field at rank number 80. Expect the unexpected. Take your pick. A lot of top skaters in this repechage semifinal. And Park just picking something off the ice there. And that's the second time we've seen that happen.
Go to the start. Ready?
And it is Kim. He looked a little slower coming off the line, but the advantage of position 1, he gets to the front. And here comes Dennis Orrs.
All the way from position 5 into 3, but Park Ji-won was able to hold that second position off the start. Now he's going to track down Kim.
And here comes the man in the Crystal Globe helmet, getting bigger and bigger in the rearview mirrors for Brandon Kim. Ors takes a look, Falcock into third, into second.
Well, Falcock went inside a block there, I think. So he was off track, but he did it to be safe.
And so he's pretty much let up. Unfortunate for him. Park comes to the line and takes it at the death.
Veteran finish from Park Ji-won.
Park Ji-won just takes it a couple hundredths of a second, and it was clear. I don't think there's any need for the photo. We were watching Falcock, unfortunate for him. But all the while, Park Ji-won was sizing up his move as we take a look back.
There's Dennis Ors moving up in that opening lap from position 5 on the line to third. Here's Falcock cutting in. There he goes inside the blocks by the look. Yeah, just has to bail out of his pass.
He knew it. And the reach, and then when there's always just one place moving on, it's unfortunate. You see the world number 9, Brandon Kim, unable to advance, and Park Ji-won, that veteran savvy, getting right ahead when it mattered most.
Job well done.
Job well done indeed. We'll see him later on this afternoon in the quarterfinals. There is a ruling down on the ice.
After review, penalty for number 21 from France.
And that was for Quentin Falcock, as you spotted, Tyler.
Off track.
Well done. That is why he is here, amongst other things. But yeah, as I was watching him make the move up the inside, you spotted that he had gone inside the pylon. And we'll get a look at it right here. And
Right there, just ahead of the apex.
he knew it right when he did it too.
Park Ji-won was kind of like, hey, wait, what are you doing in there? But kudos to Falcock, because he knew it. He stayed clear, got out of trouble, say, hey, sorry guys, and
So Lou and Park, two fantastic skaters coming through the repechage. Easier said than done. So much unpredictability in these races. Races of today, the mixed relay semifinals. 2 heats coming up. They're just doing, as is often the case in the 500 meters, with everyone shooting for the line, that scratches up that finish line a little bit, and so they detached up a little bit. Here is Monsieur Falcock.
he's just staying on the ice. Looks like he's coming right back out.
He is. We've seen that already this year. He's in the mixed relay semis. France, of course, the European champions there. And so he's, that was just his warm-up. Yes, in the end, he didn't have to push the final few laps, and so there's some energy still in the legs. And it is actually right. There is a few minutes pauses. We're changing up events, so we'll take a quick breather. And you see it there. It's about 3.5 minutes time that we get back to action. Well, this is a packed field, isn't it? 5 teams on the ice for the mixed gender relay semifinals. Heat number 1, we have the Lions, the Ninjas, the Lungs, the Roosters, the Falcons. Netherlands, Japan, China, France, and Hungary.
Well, it's going to be an absolute dogfight. 5 teams on the line in this mixed relay. We know it's a sprint. Teams are going to be battling for position. It's so tough to be the team 5th in order in the relay exchange. So teams are going to be wanting to get out of position 5 as quickly as they can. So I expect to see a lot of battling back and forth whenever possible to make a move.
Go to the start. Ready.
Michelle Velzeboer, Kanai Rika, Fan Keshin, Berenice Combi, and it's Petra Yashapati starting for the Falcons. And we'll see if there's some changes mid-race, starting with someone and finishing with the same skater. They're allowed to change up the order of the skaters in that gender. And it is Sandra Velzeboer in.
Well, the Falcons and the Ninjas have some work to do to try to get back into this race. There was a bit of a clash off the start that created some gapping. The Velzeboer sisters are just so quick, pushing the speed early in this race.
Wang Xinren on the ice for the Lungs. Aurélie Levesque chasing, and it's going to be Toon Boer in for the Dutch. Li Wenlong in for the Lungs, and now the Falcons do get up into third.
Well, Bastier had a little bit of a slip on that exit. That opened the door for the Falcons to move up.
We are getting that chance. Etienne Bastier on his birthday. And Boer still leading, and it is Sun Long and Jens van het Wout.
Can't stop attacking here. Anything can still happen with these 2 lead teams, the Lions and the Lungs, out with a healthy margin over the rest of the field.
And it is the top 2 teams qualifying for the A final.
Oh, and there the Lungs go.
And the Lungs go down.
Sun Long was down.
Now, the race is wide open for second as the women's skater back in for the second time. Berenice Combi trying to make a move for second, but Michelle Velzeboer off and away.
Yashapati now moving up into third, rather, with the Lungs down.
And it's really a battle for that all-important second place. It is Sandra Velzeboer, it's Nakashi Mamide for the Ninjas. And maybe a look, it's 3 teams. And a little bit of breathing room for the Ninjas as Miyata Shogo comes in. They have Hayashi Kosei to finish things off. One more exchange to come. It is Miyata. And
well, Jens van het Wout on track now for the Dutch Lions. Healthy lead, he can skate safe.
And it is Hayashi with a healthy gap. Jens van het Wout, the Dutch Lions so good at staying out of trouble in these relays. So often, every round, they are comfortably on the front. And it's the Ninjas who get a chance to race for the medals. A good race finished by Hayashi right there. And that moment, Tyler, I was saying last night, the moment is coming for that Japanese program.
Yeah. And sometimes the opportunities work in your favor. Chinese Lungs having the unfortunate fall there. Sun Long just going down. We'll see if we get a replay of that. I'm not sure if it already passed us by here.
And so the mixed gender relay race for the medals and for the points, of course, leads things off on the World Tour session on Sunday. But Dutch Lions through again. Heat number 2. And so it will be, just looking back at heat number 1, the Dutch, the Japanese, Hungary, and France will go to the B final, the Falcons and the Roosters. Unfortunate for the Lungs. Heat number 2, as the Canadians, the champions-elect perhaps, in the Team Crystal Globe standings, the Hussars, the Italian Gladiators, and the USA Eagles. And so I would say this one is quite wide open. Of course, you would have to. The Dutch have 2 wins in the mixed relay, the Canadians with 1, the Chinese with 1, the Koreans with 1, but the US has also been on the podium, the Italians have been on the podium. So buckle up. There's, especially in a sprint relay like this, where there's so much power on that Polish Hussar side, they're still fixing the ice where the lungs went down. Canadians, Florence Brunel, Kim Boutin, William Dongenou, and Félix Roussel. USA Eagles, their opening tandem, of course, Corin Stoddart, Christian Santos Griswold. They also have Marcus Howard. And it is Sean Shui, Kamila Stormovska, Natalia Malashevska, Michał Niewinski, and DNA Cellier. And the Gladiators, Ariana Siegel. I think it's Elisa Confortola down there. It is Thomas Natalini and Pietro Siegel. Ice just full of really strong skaters.
Well, this mixed relay is just a fun event. Love the speed, love how the race just gets going immediately. There's no time wasted at all.
And now there's also a bit of a repair at the finish line as well. This is the last race of the morning session. We'll be back with you in, well, we'll do the math in just a little bit. It all begins with the men's 1500 meters, and it could be, depending on how the math plays out, the coronation moment for William Dongenou. Of course, Jens van 't Wout will have something to say about that.
And both skaters are just looking in tremendous form right now. Jens van 't Wout's just looking so comfortable out on the ice, so you know, it's going to be a real showdown between those two this afternoon.
Something to look forward to, and it opens with it, just the men's 1500 as we always do. Women's 1000 also leading things off. And here we go. It's Boutin. It is Malashevska. It is Siegel. And it is Stoddart.
Go to the start. Ready.
Corin Stoddart, social media post after the weekend in Tilburg, where she was made several trips to the podium, posted about how difficult the run-up was. She even considered not skating. Of course, the US program, glad she did, but she is trying to chase now. It's Boutin off to her trademark blistering start, and Malashevska right on her. Everybody through the first exchange. Brunel, Stormovska, Confortola, and Santos Griswold making the move, making the look at third, perhaps, not just yet. Now it's really compacting up.
Another little bit of a look, but Santos Griswold losing a bit of her footing on the exit of the turn. Eagles staying in fourth right now as Felix Roussel for the Ice Maples hits the lead of the race, with DNA Cellier tracking him down.
Cellier has been looking good in the 500s this weekend. And this, of course, very much a sprint relay. Natalini closing back up, and Howard's lost a bit of traction.
Cellier on the inside. Can they get their exchange order due? They do. They get set. William Dongenou takes that lead right back for the Ice Maples.
Niewinski squeezing out Siegel to stay into second. Niewinski now taking a look. Nope, not this time. And Shui is closing up a little bit off the back, but it really is a battle for three for the moment. And the women back in. What a push to get Siegel into second.
Malashevska responding, looking up the inside. She gets the pass completed.
And bit by bit, Corin Stoddart is closing back in. Santos Griswold missed the few opportunities. Didn't really get the good looks to pass. Could she go for third this time? It is a bit of separation again.
Well, Confortola has been skating so strong, hitting the podium last week for the Italian Gladiators. Now she's going up the inside of Stormovska.
Can't make it stick. It's all over the place, and it is Marcus Howard up into third, taking advantage of that congestion on the exchange. But right now, it's Roussel, and it is Cellier.
Natalini up the inside of Marcus Howard. He holds it.
And when it's Dongenou on the front, it's usually good night everybody else.
While Tanjanu just creates quick separation between himself and Nowinski.
And Donjanu gets through that tricky turn, the one that's been causing some trouble for everybody. It's a race for second. Oh! Seagull went for it. Nowinski did get over the line first as Seagull went diving up the inside. There are 3 separate incidents being looked at. And I think all of them involve the Gladiators. One of them is a possible leg block on the USA Eagles. The second is a possible failure to give way, and then that incident at the line. I mean, no harm, no foul. Everybody was okay, and Nowinski did still cross the line in second. But Seagull went for it.
Another look at the inside pass for DNA Cellier. That was the momentary lead that the Hussar had in this mixed relay semifinal. Another look at the finish. Seagull just trying to get everything he can on the exit of the corner, losing his footing, knocking down Nowinski.
It could be a Polish Hussars return trip to the A final. They were penalized. And there is the look. Nowinski still managing to stick the blade out. Get the shoot for the line. But yeah, the A final in Tilburg was the Dutch, the Italians, the Eagles, and the Polish Hussars. And so 3 of those teams were in this race. I think the Polish Hussars finished in a medal position, if I remember correctly, and they were penalized.
But they were penalized, so I think they've been held without a medal this year.
In the mixed relay, yes. So here's incident 1. That has been cleared. The possible leg block, that's the one at the finish line.
It actually looked like almost Nowinski's left hand caught Seagull's leg here, and that just sent Seagull right there off balance.
They are looking for a possible arm block there. But the first incident involving the Gladiators and the Eagles, that one's been cleared. It was a possible leg block.
It's the left hand right here of Nowinski. He's swinging his arm, just contacts the leg of Seagull, puts him off balance. I don't think we've seen a look of the inside pass to the Italians where there was the failure to give way. That might have been Confortola and Starmauska. Trying to remember which matchup that was, but I remember there was that very tight corner entry.
I think very much looking at the finish line there, though, as a possible arm block. Nowinski, of course, it could also, he's coming out of the corner and you leave the arm out there.
And it's a balance because you're also trying to swing your arms to help gain momentum and help drive your legs.
So I believe decisions have been made. We are all now paying rapt attention.
Well, the failure to give way has been cleared.
Okay, so it is just the finish line incident now. And it's the slightest of touches at the line, but it is, of course, Nowinski just trying to get the legs going again, and so here we go.
After review, penalty for Team Poland.
There you go. And so it is the arm block. Nowinski, wry smile, shake of the head. And so it is the Italian Gladiators who are officially second over the line, moving into the A final. And it's going to be a 3-team B final on Sunday. The USA Eagles moving on there. And so we're going to get another look at it. So there he puts the arm back, almost grasping a little bit at the leg. Almost instinctive, I think, in that moment where you're trying to just get that push forward, but
just reactionary maybe, but an impediment nonetheless.
So the Gladiators will have a chance to race for the medals. There will be the A final. The Ice Maples, Gladiators, Lions, and Ninjas. That will kick things off on the World Tour session tomorrow afternoon with the B final as well, featuring 3 teams. And so that is repechage morning on day 1 from here in Milan. Stay with us, keep an eye out. We are about 90 minutes away from potentially the decisive moment in the men's Crystal Globe standings. We'll have the men's 1500-meter semifinals coming up. You see the slate on the bottom of your screen. However you are watching around the world, we will talk to you in just a little bit. And so for Tyler Darrow and the entire crew putting this event together, my name is Gavin Day. Talk to you in a bit. Goodbye.